Tifu by accidentally getting high in front of my family on Christmas morning. I don't smoke weed very often, but the other day I picked up some edibles from a dispensary. I live in Massachusetts, US. I took them last night because I knew I would be alone watching TV since the rest of my family went to bed. I took the dosage I usually take and felt nothing. At about 9 p.m. A few hours later, around 11 p.m., I took another one, but never felt it. I chalked it up to either being coconut edibles or due to all of the food I had in my stomach from Christmas Eve dinner, and went to sleep. Fast forward to the morning, and I was in the living room with my family. I went to the kitchen to get breakfast, when I started feeling funny. At first I thought I felt dizzy, which was a side effect of the medicine I started the day before. Soon after I realized I felt a little high but thought it was in my head. About 20 minutes later, at 11 a.m., I started feeling the edible without a doubt. 11 a.m. on Christmas morning with my family and I am high as a kite. I had to open all of my gifts with my family watching feeling like this. BTW, let's just say they would not be happy to find out I took an edible. When gift opening was over, I tried googling whether or not this was possible. I couldn't find many answers. I assumed it was happening either because of all the food I ate right before I took them or because of the antibiotics, over-the-counter medicine I had started taking the day before. I spent the next 2 hours feeling uncomfortably high. I even felt high while at my extended family's house, which made things very uncomfortable. Opening a gift from someone else with a whole room of people watching is awkward as it is. At least no one had any idea. They probably just thought I was being quiet and awkward. TL, Doctor, I accidentally got high in front of my family on Christmas morning because I ate 2 edibles the night before. Dude, you're a trooper. This would have been the death of me. I've had that happen to me with an edible before. Definitely wouldn't have wanted to do family Christmas that day. Lol. I feel for you. I'm a stoner and have definitely had edibles hit me the night after, usually when I take melatonin or something similar, so maybe antibiotics or whatever might have had the same influence. Plus the food. Lol. It's a way different high when you're not expecting to be high as butternut anymore. Happened to me. 8:10 p.m. Felt nothing at all, went bed, woke up for work at 8 high as a butternut. To explain to the boss, who laughed it off. Last time I did edibles that was ha. My guess is maybe by going to sleep your body's metabolism slowed down, enough that it delayed the THC from taking full effect till the morning. I'm in no way qualified to make that guess though. Uncomfortably numb. Tifu by recommending Shel Silverstein books as a Christmas present to my family for my daughter. Obligatory. This wasn't today but rather all month before Christmas. My daughter is 6 years old and loves reading Shel Silverstein poetry books, so it was an obvious go-to when my family asked what they could get her. So my mill found one on Amazon called Different Dances and gave it to her on Christmas Eve. I worked that night and she showed it to me that night when I came home. I looked at it and was like cool and didn't think much about it afterward. Why would I? It had some kind of creepy artwork on the front, but it seemed totally in line with Silverstein's usual style of art. It's clearly a children's book. Christmas came and went and more presents made the book even more forgettable. I worked the next day and this is where it gets zucchini up. My wife texts me at work saying that my daughter came out of her room and said, "You know that book is really inappropriate." And she sends me pictures from this book and it's filled with a ton of adult, dark humor. But mostly dicks. Tons of dicks. Way too many dicks. The book had a sticker that I really didn't pay attention to that warned about its adult content. But it was in tiny text under 25th anniversary. I had no idea Shel Silverstein also produced this cheesecake content, and now my daughter has seen this cheesecake. She said she read every page. My mill is freaking out over it and I don't really know how to handle it. Obviously see the humor in this, but at the same time, I can't wholly appreciate it because it's pretty butternut up. To me this is like the equivalent of getting a Drive Seuss book and then you open it up and it's just filled with banana. Here's some pictures for those curious. Shel Silverstein ruined my daughter's innocence. TL, Doctor told my mill to get a children's book for my daughter for Christmas and she instead got a cartoon book full of cheesecake. Smiley face. your daughter will never be the same dude. Jokes aside, it sounds like she handled it really healthy though. Told your wife right away, said it was inappropriate. Just something no one could ever unsee. Maybe now you have to have a small talk about human anatomy and how men and women have different anatomy, and that's okay and normal. Yeah, me and my wife both had some talks with her since. Some of this stuff you can't just explain. We kind left it open-ended and asked if she had any questions about what she saw. He lived here in Key West, and there are some impressive stories about him out on the town. He wrote for Cheesecake for like 40 years and wrote A Boy Named Sue. Sadly, a big banyan tree fell on his house in Hurricane Irma and it got demolished recently. I guess now we know what happens where the sidewalk ends. This is hilarious and frankly really not that bad of a way to be introduced to the idea of naked folk. Tifu by masturbating too hard and triggering ephemeral hernia. I noticed a couple of days ago, which is when it happened. After copious googling, I'm gonna go to the hospital today. It's the holiday season, which means my girlfriend and I are back in our hometown visiting our parents. We had a great Christmas dinner a few days ago with both the families at our mom's place, and I ended up staying over at her parents while my family went home. Us, being young and butternut, didn't get a chance to do much at night, as I was sanctioned on the living room couch alone. All good. The next morning she wakes me up and says that I can lay with her for a bit before we have to get up for real, and go see Rise of Skywalker. I excitedly oblige, since I had been thinking about her literally all night. We get into her bed, in the bedroom she shares with her little sister, and I get a little frisky. We move into the bathroom and she isn't willing to go farther because she doesn't want her parents to catch us. Reasonable, but also a bummer. My balls? Blue as can be. So I do what any reasonable young man does with morning wood and jump in the shower. Turn the heat up, get some body wash and go at it. Hard. Apparently too hard. I spend a good 10 minutes really rubbing that thing. It feels great, but I'm having trouble climaxing. I'm consciously squeezing my legs together and trying not to fall over as I focus on what I assume will be a massive payload. It was intense. I finally get off and we go see Star Wars. I then headed home and spent the day with my family. At the dinner table I happen to brush over my inner thigh, and I feel a tender little bump down there. I tell my mom, who says it might be a hernia, worst case. I don't think much of it, finish eating, and get on with the evening. Nighttime rolls around and everyone is in bed. I decide to Google painful lump in groin and I find pretty much exactly what I have described, called ephemeral hernia. I dig into the rabbit hole and look up can you coconut with a hernia? And find that excessive masturbation, muscle strain, can lead to hernias. Sure did strain myself that morning. A lot more than usual. And then a tender lump in my groin appeared. Frown. So today or tomorrow I'm going to a walk-in clinic, getting a stranger to feel my groin and confirm my suspicions, and then we'll see. Merry Christmas. TL, Doctor. Girlfriend left me with blue balls which I relieved with a strenuous masturbation sesh that led to a hernia. Probably. Merry Christmas. Sorry for formatting, on mobile. I'm pretty sure you can get this exact type of hernia by forcing too hard while taking a dump. Read this comment as taking a dump and I'm scared to push now. You performed a literal rubbed one out. Can you push it back in? That's what she said. Michael Scott. I'll see myself out. This managed to cause a belly laugh. Bravo. Congrats, you now have a hernia. At least you'll give some doctors a laugh on Christmas.